Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Maxine Stryker. The first full week of the 2025 legislative session kicks off tomorrow, and it'll be a busy slate as the governor is set to unveil his budget. We'll look into how he plans to offset a $3 billion budget shortfall in a moment. But we begin with questions about the Department of Juvenile Services, as Secretary Vincent Schiraldi is expected to face tough questions from a special committee on Wednesday. This comes as juvenile crime victims are calling for stronger laws, including a man who partially lost his eyesight after teens attacked him in Federal Hill in November.
But in the short term, they're doing things like what happened to me, and they don't fear any consequences of it. So in the short term, there needs to be accountability.
Fox 45's Vincent Hill joins us live now with a look ahead to the hearing and what to expect from both Schiraldi and the lawmakers. Vince.
Well, Maxine, we've heard those calls for accountability for juveniles, but this week it'll be Schiraldi's accountability that will be in question.
On Wednesday, Department of Juvenile Services Secretary Vincent Schiraldi is expected to face lawmakers in Annapolis. It's his first time he'll face questions this legislative session. The Department of Juvenile Services is set to be reviewed by the Office of Program Evaluation and Government Accountability. After last year's session, calls for accountability from the Secretary began, often highly criticized for his handling of the department and a spike in juvenile crime.
People really need to fact check.
But the Secretary has maintained juvenile crime is not as out of control as it seems. While it's not clear if lawmakers will challenge Schiraldi on his performance, the fact is residents.
They need to get that man Schiraldi out of the office.
DJS employees.
Do you believe Secretary Vincent Schiraldi should step down?
Yes.
And victims like John Berardi.
I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
The Secretary is underperforming. Berardi, now permanently blind in one eye after this assault and robbery, sending a letter directly to Governor Moore asking for Schiraldi's resignation.
DJS is constantly releasing juveniles who've committed violent acts and on their 6th, 7th arrest for carjackings or repeat offenses, and that's just unacceptable. You can't have these people out in the street doing these things who have proven they're just going to keep doing them.
Fox 45 reached out to the governor's office this week for a response to Berardi's letter. A spokesperson acknowledged the request for comment, but so far, no comment has been made for Berardi.
I hope I do get a response.
Please take a seat, guys. Please take a seat. Good morning.
He says he's still waiting as well from the one person he says can change the Department of Juvenile Services.
And the governor's the one that's over all of these organizations. But he's the only one that could pull all this together.
Now, Berardi's request for Schiraldi to resign is just the latest, and many we've heard from community groups, law enforcement, and even the Maryland Senate Republican caucus. Schiraldi is expected to give that testimony this Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And of course, Fox 45 will be there to cover it. For now, we're live in Baltimore. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.